In another time and place, Jack would have stood in the base manager's outer office to endure a chewing out from whomever the base manager was at the time. At certain stages of construction, the secretaries working these outer offices were either remote computers or robots, or human beings who had no other opportunity on the base. The offices were bare and bland, less human than a doctor's office, cold more often than warm, with few entertainments or distractions. Mr. Clipper, we have reason to suspect you have been out of line with one of your supervisors. We have many reports here, some in writing, which suggests you have been blatantly in disregard for protocols. These creatures in suits cycled out often, one bland, inoffensive, arrogant face blending in with so many other bland, inoffensive, and arrogant faces, in the end becoming the pure embodiment of an archetype, the bureaucrat of one kind or another. Mr. Clipper, there are signs posted all over the base for your protection, for safety. To disregard these signs is to encourage insubordinate behavior. No running. It was such a minor infraction of a pointless policy that few upheld it except for the engineers who put up the signs. The base was on the side of a mountain, with hazardous crosswinds and blistering tempests, flash freezing cold snaps and ice and snow. Everywhere anyone went, on the base, there were hazards and dangers. In spite of these chronic dangers, no one went out of their way to antagonize the engineers, most of whom were preoccupied, more with pedantic policies than with engineering. Every other day, there were engineering staff meetings and safety meetings between the cadre of engineers and good Mr. Wilcox, sometimes lasting through the early hours of evening. Who knew that ordering people's behavior was more profitable than designing things, one system of control for another? Ultimately, the managers and engineers had no say in policy. They could make recommendations through these multiple meetings, but were limited in authority. There was just the grand consensus of the executive cluster on the mountain base. As such, the authoritative probate against stamping one's boots on the steps, making the most of the noise, was issued for the sake of a few who demanded their authority be felt. The engineers' cadre spent very little actual time moving up and down the steps into the bowels of the mountain. They were untouched by the effects of the recommendations. This was absurd for the work being done, construction on a massive mountainous scale. One couldn't help but make noise. A chewing out for Mr. Wilcox wasn't a minor affair, a process over the course of a day, of sitting and waiting in hallways and offices, just to be chastised in a mild and passive tone, to fill out unnecessary forms that meant nothing other than the acknowledgement of having been chastised. As important as it was in this process to maximize the time wasted, it was to emphasize the importance of an otherwise insignificant disciplinary action. There was that voice, containing both an accusation and sympathy, mixed with the scorn of someone having their own time wasted. No running. Jack Clipper ran down the stairs. He knew this chewing out was never going to happen. Not today, not ever. Jack Clipper put all his weight on the heels of his boots to emphasize the noise. The little boy was now in big shoes, and the noise was overwhelming.